What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bluegrass State of Mind, the show where three college roommates talk life, sports, and all the ridiculous things that happen in an apartment we like to refer to as Room 302. We're bringing you stories, hot takes, and the kind of late-night debates that probably should have stayed in the group chat.
So grab your headphones, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through our past college life, sports, and everything in between. Let's get into it. This is Bluegrass State of Mind.
Welcome back to another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. Fellas, we're going to start off tonight with a lot of NBA talk. We're going to talk about the NBA Finals. We're going to get into some of the trades, blockbuster trades that's been going on as of late. And then we're going to get into the draft, which we had this past Wednesday night for the first round. So let's dive right into it. So the NBA Final did conclude with the Thunder winning their first ever franchise. Well, they had won with the Supersonics, but for this franchise, the Oklahoma City, with it being based in Oklahoma, wins their first world championship with the score of 103-91. Now, got a little bit of different story headlines going on here. You could go with the headline of the Thunder overcoming and winning their first championship with a younger team. You also could go down the rabbit hole of Tyrese Halliburton tearing his Achilles in the first quarter after starting really hot. Already hit 3 threes. Looked like this could be his night. You could go down where, the Pacers still also made that late push run there at the end. If you watch the game, you could see with about 5 or 6 minutes left, there was still is like 11, 12-point game. We had seen this before. Just a lot of different things you could go down. But Mason, let's start with you. You can tackle anything you want with the NBA Finals. Thoughts? Go right ahead.
Yeah, obviously, awful what happened to Tyrese Halliburton. Like you said, he started out great. Think it was going to end up being a great game. Pacers came out hot, ready to play there in OKC, but awful what happened to him. You could see it as soon as it happened, and that's kind of another topic. With all these Achilles injuries going on in the NBA. I mean, what's going on? There's so many stars, so many players going down with that. But Thunder, congrats to the Thunder. Had a great season. Very, very young team, so bright future ahead of them. I think the Thunder were obviously the better team. Throughout the playoffs, probably maybe the most well-rounded teams in the entire playoffs. But the Pacers, shout out to them. They played hard. Throughout the whole playoffs, they were just a gritty team, like you said, Dylan. I think they were down 22 or something with about 8 or 9 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
I think it got up to 22, and then they ended up cutting it back down to almost 10 or whatever it was. So, everybody sitting there watching, I'm sure they were thinking, "Oh, here come the Pacers again, another miraculous comeback." But they came up a little bit short. Shout out to SGA, UK boy, on the title. We've talked about it before. Never would have expected this, whenever he went to the league, but he's really turned into a star and blossomed. He's becoming one of my favorite players. I really like watching him. We've talked about it before, just so under control and, how he plays the game so smoothly and so smart. He's good at drawing fouls. I know a lot of people try to complain about that, but he's just smart. He plays smart basketball. So I'm excited to see what the Thunder do. They had I didn't see what they do with their draft pick. Who'd they get at 15?
The center from Georgetown,
Okay.
Thomas Sober or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't know if they traded or what they did. But that's another thing about the Thunder. We're going to be talking about the draft too, and they got a ton of draft picks here in the next few years. So bright future for the Thunder going forward.
Yeah. Before I send over to you, Colton, though, I do want to touch on a little bit about what Mason had brought up. It is very interesting. You talk about all these Achilles injuries, not only happening in the just NBA regular season, but in particular happening in the NBA playoffs. And then also, I when I say this, I mean this from a good place, and I think you all know that as well, is that you hate to see somebody get hurt, but you never really want to see your stars, the star players, get hurt. And, that's what happened to 3 star players this year. And Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, and now Tyrese Halliburton. Something very interesting I'd seen online, all 3 of these players wore the jersey number 0.
And it all come in the playoffs, right?
And it
Every
all
one
comes
of
in the playoffs, yep. And you have to think about that. Like, such a weird non-contact injury. Like, it always happens whenever a guy's usually at the top of the key, it seems like, about to make that first initial step or run, and it just you just see it immediately. Like on the replay, I know if you all was watching it, you just see the immediately like pop. Um, and I guess my question for you, Colton, I want you to answer, and then you can move on. Now that you're the Pacers and you see what has happened, do you regret not sitting Tyrese Halliburton? So if you're the president of operations, like, and you know that he has talked a lot about and he's dealt with this calf strain, but you're in the NBA Finals, are you ever going to have this opportunity again? Like, do you sit your franchise player? Do you take the chance, even though you know? And I think that there's a balance among of which both sides you could make a good argument for. And the argument for the others, for one of the cases, would be the fact that he has been dealing with this calf injury. Like, it's not just something like, oh, well, no, it just popped out of nowhere, kind of like Jason Tatum. And no, Tyrese Halliburton, he's been dealing with this all series long and throughout the playoffs. So, what thoughts on that? And then you can elaborate on the finals in general.
Yeah, so like if it had been like a game two type thing, yeah. But I mean, game seven, I mean, I don't think they could have kept him out if he wanted to, you know. If the fact that you walk, any of us would have done the same thing. And look, at the end of the day, it's his job. Like I know we put him on a pedestal, but like how many days have you woke up feeling absolutely awful, right? And you go on to work. Like there's no like, oh, we're just gonna sit today out. Like that. I mean, look, I know that that's different, but at the same time, like in his job, I'm sure how many of those guys' bodies hurt, right? And they go out and they play. And it seems like think about football, how much of a beating. And even though if you get, the games that are Sundays and turn around and they play Thursday nights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, they just took a big beating, but yet they're going out there. You gotta know every one of those guys are in pain somewhere. And yes, it does. It's awful because you take each of these happen in the playoffs, meaning that best case scenario, they all come back maybe around the All-Star break next year, right? I mean, you're looking at like an 8-month recovery. So, I mean, you're looking
Yeah.
somewhere around January, February about the All-Star break at the best case scenario for these guys to come back. And so that's what thinks is that you didn't win it and you've lost them for half of the next season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's tough. But I mean, I don't think there's any way that you could have sat him. Like, even if you'd have wanted to, there's no way he would have. Maybe game one or two, if after you won game one, if he'd have said, I've got a calf strain, maybe you're like, okay, we stole one game one, let's just sit him for game two. But when it comes to a game seven, I mean, there was no tomorrow. I mean, you're just not. So I think he had to play. But overall for the finals, I'm glad that they got close because I actually got interested in the last two or three games. I wasn't, at all at the beginning of the series. I thought the Thunder would kind of handle it, pretty handily, but they didn't. And, props to the Pacers. They're a scrappy team, well coached with Rick Carlisle. The Thunder are going to be hard to reckon with for a while. SGA had an incredible year, MVP, Finals MVP, scoring title, everything. I mean, dream season. Casey Wallace, another UK guy, come in. I mean, he's a key piece. And you talk about them just getting this center from Georgetown. And see, that's what they're going to be able to do. Is like you think of someone like what's his name, Harvenstein or whatever, that come off the bench and was just like a center that was kind of rough nosed, but he's not like an all star for the team, but it was a key piece. And look, they probably don't want to pay him, right? He's probably going to want to be a key piece for somewhere else and get paid. And now they go and draft another center to probably be that guy. And they don't have to worry about paying. That's what they can do with all these picks. All these rotational guys, they can continue to keep their core together and just rotate the rotational guys without having to pay them and just bring in these younger guys. But overall, I mean, this kind of I think that this is what you're about to see in the NBA a lot. I think you're about to see a bunch of young teams and try to build those rosters like the Rockets, like the Thunder, those type of guys. I mean, look, yeah. So I mean, those type of teams they're trying to build up and then sustain it for a long time.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the Thunder. Let's segue into that. So really, there's only been, I guess, one blockbuster trade. There's been some trades here and there, but as far as like your big trade, we had Kevin Durant is going to the Houston Rockets, and I really want to talk about this. So, in this trade, the Houston Rockets they get Kevin Durant in exchange for that. They are giving the Phoenix Suns guard Jalen Green for Dylan Brooks. They are also giving them a 2025 first round pick, the number 10 pick, the 2025 second round pick at number 59, two 2026 second round picks, a 2030 second round pick, and a 2032 second round pick. I'm going to start on this, and then you all chip in, interrupt, do whatever you want. So, if I had to pick a winner and a loser of this trade, I think that the winner is for sure the Phoenix Suns. I did not like this trade at all. And the reason for that is a couple reasons. Number one, I think you're giving way too much youth away. Uh, you know, when you're talking about Kevin Durant, you're talking about Kevin Durant, who is 36 years old, who has yet to prove himself of being that guy by himself, a leader, not having Steph Curry. I mean, you just look at it. The Brooklyn Nets, okay? No, it wasn't there. Suns, wasn't there. Oklahoma City, wasn't there. Close, didn't get the job done. So where has he proven that he is that guy by himself? And that's pretty much what he's going to have to be doing at the Houston Rockets. Now, he's going to have some good pieces. I mean, I'm not taking away they're probably going to be a good team, but what are you getting out of it? What like a future? Like what you're getting maybe what 2.5, 3 years of KD? Really? I mean, he's 36 years old. He's going to be turning 37 this year. So, and then on the other flip side of things, the Phoenix Suns, they're getting two young guys, one potential, not all-star, like just like crazy all-star, but has the ability, has the game. He's just got to figure it out. And then you're also giving away all kinds of picks, which is what, some people say, well, picks are really big risks. They are. However, though, they're also beneficial because you just have those picks and you can always trade away and get something in return. I mean, just look at the Thunder. They've had picks for years, it seems like, because they made trades similar to this where they received so many picks. And now look at everybody talking like, man, this GM is a genius. He's got all these picks. Well, that's collateral you have. So I overall did not think this was a good pickup for Houston. I didn't. I don't like it. I mean, I think that you could have traded. Now, if it had just been Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks, I think I'd have been okay with it. But adding all those extra, the first round pick of this year, the second round pick of next year, the second round pick of this year as well, two 2026 second round picks, a 2030 second pick, and I mean, that's just so many picks. And yeah, it's a chance, but again, you're not even getting 5 years out of this guy. Like you're potentially at most, I think, probably getting at the most 3.5 years. Like that, you're not exceeding that. He's 36. So, when do y'all take over? What are y'all's thoughts on this trade?
I agree. I think the Suns won the trade. I guess the Rockets just looked at it as a try to win now move. I don't necessarily know that they had the pieces to win an NBA championship right now. They were a good young team that had potential to get better in the next couple of years. I just don't know that they had the firepower to win it all. So I can kind of see their mindset. But like you said, Dylan, he's old now. I mean, yes, he's still a great player, but he's past his prime. He's getting up there in age. Like you said, he's been around other great players. The only place he's been able to get it done is with the Warriors, who were already arguably one of the best teams in NBA history. So I think
he did join the best team in NBA history, and LeBron still beat him.
I agree with that too. He did. Goat.
Yeah.
So I think the Suns win the trade. Now, I honestly think the Suns are going to end up trying to move Jalen Green. I don't think he fits well with the Suns. You got Devin Booker, who's pretty ball dominant, great scorer. So I could see them trying to move him and get another, piece to fit around Devin Booker a little bit better. But I guess Rockets are in try to win now mode, but I still don't see it happening. With this roster that they got right now, I don't think Kevin Durant gets that done, and I think it was a bad move. I think they were really headed in the right direction with what they had going. A young core that was good, developing, turning into some good players. Maybe wait another year, try to get somebody else. But I don't like the move for the Rockets.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Suns probably won the trade. The one thing I do like about it, being a Kentucky fan, I think this opens the door for Reed Shepherd to get some more playing time. They got rid of a couple guards there. They just been so guard heavy, and you gave up your number 10 pick, so you didn't go get a guy in the first round. So I mean, I think Reed Shepherd's going to get a chance to actually play quite a bit, and kind of see where he stands there. So that'll be good for him. Yeah, I don't really like the move just because outside of the Thunder, I think the Rockets are in the best position to be like the next best team in the West going forward for years to come. And just because the Lakers are getting older, LeBron will soon retire. Obviously, KD is going soon. The Warriors, Steph doesn't have that much longer. The Mavericks, you take Kyrie, Clay, they're all older, and AD. So, I mean, the Rockets had that chance to be that next, like, besides the Thunder. But I also say that probably scared them a little bit, right? Because you're like, you eventually got to beat the best to be the best. And if you're looking at the Thunder, you're like, they're not going anywhere. They're going to have this core, and they're young, and they're going to be there. So they're probably thinking, how can we build a team to win now? And I hope that they didn't push the panic button too early and cause them to. Now we'll see. I mean, they've still got some pretty decent pieces, and they might go get some more. But I mean, the Whitmore is pretty good. You take KD, and I mean, you see some other pieces, but overall, I mean, I just think that I'm like y'all. KD, I mean, he didn't work out at the Suns, and so like, I mean, I just don't think that you take your chances with Jalen Green even if you want to move him. I mean, the Sun. I mean, they're not good this year. They didn't make playoffs anyhow, so it's not like it'd be different if they were like a 4 seed. They were right there. Maybe they trade in, they're blowing it back up. But like, yeah, you just got a first round pick, a young, maybe possibly promising player, good role player, and multiple other picks, and you didn't even make the playoffs last year. So like, you're giving up a guy and you didn't even make the playoffs. So I will say I hope the Phoenix Suns go and get someone though, because they're wasting Devin Booker.
Yeah. Well, they said they have no interest. They have no interest of getting rid of him. And I don't know
he'll be 30 before you know. I mean, he's already right at 30. So I mean,
yeah. And I don't even know his contract. So I mean, he's stuck. I mean, unless he can get that player out opt out. I mean, I don't know. All right, well, let's get into the 2025 NBA draft. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Let's just pick something that stands out to us, and we'll just talk about that. I'm going to lead off because I've been looking forward to leading off with this. So here's something that stands out in my eyes of this draft. There's only been 2 teams to have ever had 3 top 10 picks. Florida, Duke, and Duke again. One of those teams won a national championship, and the other failed not once, but twice to do it. For all you Duke fans out there listening, you are complete failures. You have had 2, not one, you have had 2 times you've had 3 players go in the top 10 in the NBA. I mean, that's wild. Some teams have never even had 1, but you have had 3 players in 2 separate drafts go top 10 and you still couldn't get the job done. That's bizarre to me. Florida in 2007 had 3 top 10 picks. They had Al Horford go 3, Corey Brewer 7, and Joakim Noah go 9, and they did complete. They won back to back. They done it, But in 2019, when everybody like Zion Williamson, man, the year that they kicked Kentucky's butt in the Classic, I mean, just wore us out. You had Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish. Oh my goodness, this could be the best team ever assembled. You couldn't get the job done. Didn't even make it to the Final Four. Okay. Then this past year, you had the potential greatest player of his generation. I mean, people are talking Cooper Flag goes number 1, Con Knipple goes number 4, and then Command Malika, however you want to say it, goes 10. Didn't get the job done. Choked it away. Duke, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Failure after failure after failure. Any quick thoughts on my point? That's my point of the night for the draft, and then I'll let you all go. I mean, any
Yeah.
points on
Is
that?
it
Go ahead.
is it any? It's also kind of embarrassing that Rutgers had 2 guys go in the top 5 and didn't make the NCAA tournament.
That's true.
I
That's a
mean,
very
they didn't
true.
make the NCAA tournament. Like, I feel like you should be able to throw a couple of high schoolers out there with those 2 guys and make the NCAA in
Especially
the Big
being
Right.
Ten.
at big in the
Yeah,
Big
yeah,
Ten.
right. Like, I
Us
I
mean,
mean,
three? Us
yeah.
three?
I
I
mean,
think we make the NCAA tournament with
with
us
those
three and
2
those
guys, I
two.
mean, those 2 guys, like, so that
Studs,
kind of
yeah.
stand out too. What I've stand out is that I will say the what's crazy though is outside of Duke doing what they do in the top 10, what's crazy is looking in and not seeing a lot of these other big name schools like players getting drafted, right? And that's where NIL's come into play, right? You've had 2 Rutgers. I mean, you had even a guy from South Carolina going,
mhm.
and all of a sudden, I mean, you're like, what? Like, where do these guys come from? And to me, like, they're all good players, but you don't really,
You don't get a chance to
you
see
don't,
them.
you don't have a lot of knowledge about them. Like, as a general fan, right? These scouts obviously know a lot more, but for
Yeah.
me, I'm kind of looking. I'm like right now the best next to player available is Asa Newell from Georgia. Like, I don't even remember like really like which one was Asa Newell from Georgia. Like,
Isn't that
He's
the guy,
he's good. He's
the
a
big
lefty.
stout guy?
He's a big
no,
No,
lefty.
no,
that's
that was a
no,
guy.
no.
That was
That's the guy Kentucky was going to get.
Soto or Somo or whatever.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Soto.
Was it
Cyril Soto. Or no,
Cyril
Cyril
Somo?
something.
Somo. This is awful butchering it. But so that to me, that's the biggest thing I'm taking away from it is like you have a lot of these schools and colleges that you're just kind of like, oh man, like they've got a good player that's going in the top 20, like they've got a. So I mean, it definitely shows for the NIL spreading around and how good some of these teams and how some of these players have gone to school just based on NIL. I mean, it used to be full of Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina. I mean, you take
Yeah.
those guys, and now all of a sudden, in the last 5 or 6 years, you take like an Anthony Edwards going number 1 from Georgia. Georgia basketball has always been trash. So I
Uh-huh.
mean, but that's kind of the new age we're going towards.
Mason, what are some thoughts or something that stood out to you in this draft? Or you can feed off of mine and Cone's point, whatever you want.
I mean, first, I just want to tell all the Duke fans out there, we're still number 1. Y'all are not up there. We're the mecca of college basketball. That just proves it even more. All right. Next thing. So one thing that stood out to me. I mean, we all know, and this is kind of, I mean, it is related to the draft. It doesn't really have anything to do with who was drafted. But first thing for me is Ace Bailey. Did y'all see all the stuff going on with him about how he like
Kind
refused to work
of
out for?
did it not remind you a lot of
Shadur Sanders.
Shador Sand? Like after he didn't get
Yeah,
picked 4, I was like, oh my goodness, is this going to be another Shador
yeah,
Sanders where he just goes and goes and goes?
yeah,
Exactly, and that's kind of why I brought it up, because I mean, one, it's kind of crazy to do that. Like, yeah, they've seen you play in college, but these teams are interested in you. They're investing in you. Go talk to them. Go work out for them. But why did he not drop? But Shadur did. Like I feel like that brings back to some of our points on Shadur about how a lot of that was kind of hatred towards his dad and some other things that had gone on. But it was just interesting to me that he was and I don't know that as an organization that I would want somebody
You're
like that.
taking a big risk. I mean,
Yeah,
not the player, but just what he brings into the locker room environment. I feel like because I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. Like, I mean, obviously,
yeah.
like you get to do it's your decision. Like, and I'm not saying like he's not a good kid, but you are taking a risk because it is out of the ordinary to
Yeah.
not
yeah,
work out for a team that wants to watch you.
And they even said after he was drafted how he didn't want to go to the Jazz. Like that was like a
Yeah.
team that he didn't want to go to. So I mean, you may be looking at problems immediately already
I mean,
with
that's what I'm
this
thinking as a
kid.
GM. Like, this kid's like, all right, he's not going to come work out. Well, first, contract that we're going to offer him, what's he going to do? Hold out and not play
Yeah,
until we give him what he wants?
yeah.
Like, I don't know. I
I
wouldn't want that kind of.
but I think there is just the only thing the problem with Shador and this is basketball. There's so many like it's so if that guy can play or not. Like that's the
Right.
thing. Like with basketball, like these kids are 18 and going immediately into the league to dominate. A lot of those guys are 21, 22 in football, and you're not sure if they can come in there and do. So like, that's the only thing with that is yes, some guys like that could fall, but eventually it's kind of like, all right,
This dude's talented.
if
Yeah.
LeBron James had never worked out for anyone, are you not taking him? You know what I'm saying? Like they knew it coming in, like it. So it's just that, but you didn't know that about Shador. You thought, oh well, it's pretty good in a weaker QB class, but you're kind of like, okay, like I don't know that he's absolutely that much better than the rest of these guys. That some of these guys, like that guy Ace Bailey's good.
Yeah. He's
He's
good.
good. He's good. And I mean, it's just a matter. I mean, but it could cause problems. But I mean, it's just at this. If you're the Jazz and you're the worst record in the NBA, you might as well take a
Uh,
risk. On a guy that
True.
could be.
yeah. Well, speaking of who's good, let's get into a little Kentucky talk. Um, so I sent you all what we're going to do tonight is we're going to draft or not, or each one of you, or that's what we can do. We can draft. We're going to do our top 5 UK NBA players. You can take this however you want. You can take it based on um their, I guess, status of what they accomplished in the NBA. You can take it as your favorite player, however you want. But I do want you all to tell how you're going to draft it. I'll start things off. So the way that I'm going to look at this is I'm going to look at their accomplishments and if it I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt of saying like even if they haven't been in the NBA this long, what it's going to be like maybe even 5 more years down the road. So I'm gonna give them a little bit more time if they haven't been able to establish themselves fully yet. That's kind of what my draft is going to come for or come about. I'm gonna come about it that way. Mason, how are you gonna draft?
So I completely misunderstood that. I had mine as top 5 UK players of all time, but let me get some. I mean, I can just do it my favorite. I'm gonna do favorite instead of trying to remember stats and accomplishments and stuff. So I'm just gonna go my top 5 favorite NBA players that played at Kentucky.
Okay, Colton,
Yeah,
you can do it.
I'm gonna kind of do a mixture. I'm gonna pick a couple that played in the NBA that were my favorites, and then I'm going to throw in a couple guys that would just fill in like that have actually been like very successful
Okay.
in players. So
All right. Well, I will start things off. We'll do. I'll go one, then y'all can go y'all's one, and then Mason, you can go split us off at 2, and then we'll follow, and then Colton, you start 3, and we'll just restart. All right. So my number one pick for the best UK NBA player to ever do it could be a little bit of. It's not a hot take. It's just a little early, but I'm going with him. I'm gonna go Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean,
NBA champion.
I,
I mean
I
MVP. I
mean,
mean, he,
MVP
and
scoring
thing is,
title.
I,
the thing
Yeah.
is, if he doesn't do another thing, like
yeah, I
he's
mean,
going to at
like
least be remembered
you're
for
talking
that.
the
So
first ever Kentucky player to win MVP, like you mentioned before, scoring champion. He is won the MVP of of the finals, won the Western Conference MVP. You talk about a guy who's been in the top 5 MVP voting for 3 straight years. He's been NBA All Team First Team for 3 straight years. He was an All Star. He's been an All Star 4 years. I mean, he's only been in the league 7 years. Give me 8 more years. That'll be at 15 years. I think you're looking at least another championship at the minimum. And then I think he's going to have a chance to win one more MVP. And I know he's going to be an all star probably every year. I mean, and then at that point, you're looking at 12 all star selections with maybe 2 MVPs, and if not, at least 3 or 4 championships. I mean, at the minimum, 2, I think. I mean, I don't know how you go against that. I mean, I know there's some bigger names out there still, but like those bigger names haven't done that. They've been close a couple times, but they haven't. And let me rephrase this as well: being the go-to guy, the number one. You know what I mean? And I'll feed off that later. But go ahead, Mason. Who's your number one?
I think that, I mean, if I had to say yes, I think SGA will be there eventually. Um, I'm going to go a little bit different kind of route here based off the success he had, not as a player, but as a coach. I'm going to say Pat Riley. I feel like a lot of people forget about Pat Riley and,
Hey.
that he was at UK.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been very successful in the NBA. He's won multiple championships with the Lakers and the Heat. And he was a good player at UK too. It was just well before our time. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Pat Riley. I know it's a little bit different of a take there, but I got to throw him out there. He's been very successful in the NBA, more so as a
But
coach than as
but
a
to the
player.
audience, remember we're doing this a little different. Each one of us, like I'm
Yep.
doing based on players' achievements and what. And Mason, you're doing it kind of a mixture of your favorite players and success. And
Yep.
then Colton, you're kind of doing favorite and success. So it's gonna look a little different, but
Yeah.
y'all can follow it.
So for my 3 spot, I'm going to take my favorite player at Tayshaun Prince. Man, I mean, and he was locked down defensively for the
I love the
Pistons, got them a
Pistons.
title. I mean, that was probably the only time I've really ever been truly into the NBA. Is Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun, Rip Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace. That starting five right now, inject it into my veins. I
Yes.
mean, it was awesome. But I mean, I loved watching Tayshaun. I mean, he was one of those where like he wasn't going to average, but maybe 8 to 10 points a night. But he was always guarding LeBron, Kobe, any of the best players, and he was just a perfect role player. And I mean, I loved watching Tayshaun, and he finally played several years in the NBA. Got his title with the
Mm-hmm.
Pistons. Was part of that big, when they were really good there for 3, 4, 5 years. He was a big part of that. And so for my 3 spot, I'm taking Tayshaun Prince.
I can remember vividly being on vacation with my grandparents and watching the Pistons. They played it. Was it the Spurs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember watching it. Pistons and Spurs. I
Hmm.
remember vividly.
Well,
Shot.
I said
Wait.
Mason, he's gonna do it next, but I'm just gonna keep going because I feel like that make much more sense.
Go ahead.
All right, so for my number two slot on my list for most successful players in the NBA to come from UK, I'm going with Anthony Davis. I think it's another no-brainer. Talk about a guy who has been an all-star for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years. I mean, is that not weird to think? Anthony, I mean, but Anthony Davis has been an all star for 11 years. He's been in the MVP race multiple times. The best he's been, he got third in the 2017-18 season, but he's been also Defensive Player of the Year race multiple times. Been All NBA. Just has one championship with the Lakers. And the thing, a lot of people might put AD above Shea, but there's just a couple things I mean, you're talking about the MVP, which AD has not had. You're talking about the scoring title, which Anthony Davis has not had. You're talking about winning a championship and being the number one guy. Now, yes, you could maybe argue like, well, AD was that number one guy, but at the end of the day, when you're on a team with LeBron, you're never going to be the number one guy. You're just not going to be. You're going to be second. You're going to be Robin. You'll never be Batman. Okay, so that's kind of why I went with AD. AD will be my number two. So I've got Shea as my one as best UK players to ever do it in the NBA. Then I got AD. Mason, go for your number two slot and remember explain what you're doing.
Yep. So number 2 slot, probably one of my favorite players to play in the NBA, but he also had some good success. Probably not as much as some other guys, but he won 2 rings. He was on a really good team. But I'm going with Rajon Rondo. Um,
That's a
he,
good
I
pull
loved,
there.
I loved watching Rajon Rondo. Felt like I kind of played a little bit like him, pass first. Would always find the open man. So I loved watching him growing up. And I used to love watching him on the Celtics. It was almost like every game he'd just have some crazy pass, where he'd fake the whole defense out. Loved watching Rajon Rondo and the way he would control the game and run the game. So I think he ended up with 2 rings. I think he was an All-Star several times. I know that. He
Four
was
times.
all defense, 4-time all defense, I think, too. So yeah, I'm going with Rajon Rondo, one of my favorites, but also very well accomplished.
Wait, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go ahead and get the 2 position and go ahead and get Devin Booker. Obviously, team success hasn't been that great, but I mean he's been a bucket since he got into the NBA. Had a 71 point game, I think is what he got up to at one point. I mean, pushing that Kobe Bryant 81 point there. I mean that's insane, 70 point game. But I'm going to have to go with Devin Booker. I mean, just a pure scorer, pure shooter of the basketball. Has developed into, we saw it coming off the bench at UK. And then you got to get to the NBA and saw like the rest of his game and watch him develop into that type of player. But I mean, shooting wise, he's going to go down. I mean, as just he's a top scorer. I hope that he gets to have a little success team wise to highlight how good of a player he really is.
Yeah.
Going forward. But I'm taking Devin Booker for my 2 spot.
And I'm also, if you want, y'all can say the same people because that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, I'm not gonna change it based on, and maybe we should have been a little bit more specific in our message here. But like I told the audience, what you get it or what you see is what you get right here. We don't really do a lot of talking beforehand.
Same people.
Yeah.
Well, you can't draft a player I got.
I've actually gone to, but it's not a draft. It's just a list.
A draft. No, I disagree.
Okay, I meant to say list.
Nope, we got 5.
I'm going to change up my list. No, I've already got all my guys.
Yeah, no, we can. No, that's not. Come on. No,
come
we're
on,
drafting.
Wait, are these teams going up against each other? Like, are we saying that?
Yeah,
they're not going up against each other.
You're drafting.
No, these teams are playing each other because I got to restart.
I just wanted to list my 5 most successful NBA players.
The NBA draft is on right now. Once the guy gets drafted, no one else can draft him.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't supposed to be a draft. It's just supposed to be a list.
It's gone.
I'm going with it.
Okay,
with number 3 most successful player I had was Rajon Rondo. I can't go away from him. I mean that talk about a guy Mason already talked about. I mean all NBA defensive team. He's been a 4 or 5 time All-Star. But then like you said, team success, no bueno. I'm thinking of Devin Booker. Rajon Rondo did have team success. Talk about an NBA champion, not only with the Celtics, but the 2020 Lakers as well. All right, Mason, go ahead. Who you got next?
I'm gonna go another old pull here. Jamal Mashburn. Great at Kentucky again. He averaged right over 19 points a game throughout his career in the NBA. Never won any titles or anything, but he was a solid player once he got to the NBA. Growing up, didn't get to watch him obviously when he was at UK, but he was going back and just kind of reading and watching some highlights and things. I'm gonna go with Jamal Mashburn.
I guess I'll go with AD. Since he's still available, we can duplicate these guys.
Yeah, I'm going all different, Colton. I'm going
it's just a list. It's just a list. It's just a list. It's not a draft.
All right, then I'm not. You know what, Mason? I'm gonna be with you. I'm not gonna take any of the same ones either. I'm gonna take as my point guard because I think he will eventually, and he might be the new leader of what could potentially be a dynasty. But I'm gonna take De'Aaron Fox. He's come alive in the last few years. Brought the Kings kind of from being nothing, and then all of a sudden him, Monk, and some of them got there and made them relevant for a little bit. He's at the Spurs who have been down, but now with him, Wemby, and some of these other guys they brought in, I see the Spurs, starting to be one of those like Thunder type teams. So I think De'Aaron Fox has had a good NBA career. He's had a lot of big moments, and I think he'll finally have like the big team success at the Spurs if they continue to build around him and Wemby. So.
Yeah, for my 4th spot, I'm going with Jamal, 4-time NBA All-Star. I just wish Jamal would have stuck around longer. I feel like and gone on a better team. I think that really hurt him. He was in an era where he was having to face the King, LeBron, Waka Flocka James himself, and was just getting beat multiple times. Couldn't get past him, and then he had Bradley Beal. Him and Bradley Beal they worked well together, but they never really could they never could get out of just Eastern Conference Finals. That's about as far as they would ever get. It seemed like, or the first or second round. So I'm taking John Wall in the 4th spot.
All right,
ahead,
I'm gonna go with DeMarcus Cousins. I know some people don't like his attitude, and at times I don't agree with it either. But man, when he was at his peak in the NBA, that man was the best big in the league. I don't care what anybody says. You could not stop that man. He could step out and shoot it. He could blow by you and dunk on you. That man was a problem whenever he was at the peak. I just wish he would have, stayed a little straighter and stayed a little bit longer. I think he really could have been something special if he, could have got all that fixed, what was going on up there. But
yeah. Don't know who you taking it for.
I'm going to go with another pool because I think that he's been good, and it's not going to be a position guy. We're moving Tayshaun to the 4. But we're going to say Tyler Hero. Listen, once again, I think just young shooter like him and Devin Booker both. Like when you look at their stats here in another 5 years, 10 years, and you look at the actual stats that they had across the 10 or 15-year span, you're going to sit there and say, man, like these guys averaged 20 to 25 for 10 years in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Just elite scorers. And, when you're going to look back, I just hope that they get the team success to kind of highlight and spot, because that's really what it comes down to a lot of times. How many times is kind of like a Paul George is starting to get overlooked, and some of these guys that have been all-stars for a while, but James Harden, right? Even now, you don't talk about James Harden that much because he never won a title, and now SGA, he's won a title, and you're going to talk about him more. So I hope that Booker and Hero both kind of get that team success.
We'll talk about team success. That's leading into my last guy. You already mentioned Colton. He was your second or third. Devin Booker. That's my 5th most successful NBA player. So remember, guys, Dylan Gerald's. My list was based on team success, or not team, based on NBA success. So I went Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 1, AD at 2, Rajon Rondo 3, John Wall 4, and then Devin Booker 5. Go ahead, Mason.
All right, so
I will come through this screen.
Nonsense. I've never had a draft like this.
Nobody's taking Cat, right?
No one's taking Cat. That's a good one.
All right, I'm gonna take Cat. I know he's kind of up and down some throughout his early career here, but he's a big who he'd catch fire any night and give you 40, give you 50 any given night. Somebody who could space the floor. And I like Cat. He has a pretty good personality and things. So I'm gonna go with Cat. And my list was kind of a mix of everything, and I did not take the same people as everybody else. So
that's right. You know who we finishing off with?
The SEC.
Guess who we finishing off with? Mark Pope.
And it's
yeah,
Mark Pope. Only for that video of him blocking Kobe.
That's right.
Yes, lockdown Kobe Bryant. What a legend.
What a pull.
What a pull. Me and Mason, gosh, what teams. That's how you do throwback draft. That's how you draft a class.
Right.
Well, I didn't say we was doing a throwback draft.
You said it was a draft.
I know, I meant to say list, but oh well. I almost threw Dan Issel in there, but then it would have been more. He spent more time in the ABA than he did actually in the NBA, so it kind of been a little different. But
he was number one on my list for Kentucky when I did it.
What about the guy who got picked first overall in the year that Michael Jordan went?
Oh,
Sam Bowie.
Yeah, but injury. I know, but it's the injury. Yeah. All right, well, let's get on to the PGA. So, this past weekend, the Travelers Championship was played, where yours truly made his second call of the year. I've got 2 so far. I called Russell Henley, and then I called Keegan Bradley. Captain Keegan wins at 15 under. He made a birdie on the last hole to beat out Tommy Fleetwood and Russell Henley. Tommy Fleetwood was going into 18 with a 1-stroke lead where he proceeded to bogey. And then Russell Henley was also at 13 under down 2 and then chips in at 14 So had Bradley missed his birdie putt and Tommy Fleetwood bogeyed still, we would have had and Russell Henley chipped, we would have had a three-way playoff, which would have been pretty exciting. But Colton, I want to send it over to you first. What's the bigger story? What is the story? Keegan overcoming and winning, and also being the captain of the Ryder Cup team, potentially playing his way onto the Ryder Cup team, or is the bigger story Tommy Fleetwood choking?
I
Or
believe
what do you think? I want to know what you think the golf world is,
okay.
and then if you agree with that, you can give your opinion, or if yours is different.
I think that it's Keegan. And that's just because it's Ryder Cup year and given his status as a captain. If he had not been the captain of the Ryder Cup team, it would have been the Fleetwood story. But given that he was a captain, given that people would already consider, because he was playing pretty good beforehand, they were like, he had said he wasn't going to make himself a captain's pick. And right there, he was on that edge where, like, I think people would have wanted him on, but you could have argued for him along with about four others to fill those last couple spots. So there wasn't like a certain. And now I don't know how you argue against it. So, he's a captain and you're talking about him being from that area. So, it's just all those stories was him. Yes, I feel awful for Fleetwood. I do. I like Tommy Fleetwood. I think he's a very professional guy. He's always had a positive attitude. He's a great player. He's just never been able to break through on the PGA Tour yet. I think it's going to come. I hope it does, because I think he's one of those, if he ever gets that off his back, he could win multiple times. He's just a very consistent and solid player. He does things the right way. He's never, he's always been a positive figure for the game. So I hate it for him, especially to lose it like that, because people are already thinking that before going into the last hole, like on the final day when we were talking about it, right? We know what he's been through and the way that he's, performed on Sundays.
He's
Yeah,
choked.
he has, and that sucks because it's what he's done, but you hate to go against, like, you hate to say it, talk about it in that way for a guy that's as nice and kind as someone like Tommy Fleetwood. Right, like if it's like Patrick Reed, you're like, I hope that man in 5 putts get him off here. He probably moved his ball an extra inch. Like, right, exactly. But for someone like Fleetwood, you hate to see something like that happen. But overall, that's just an awesome finish for Keegan. He went and birdied. It wasn't like he just, he had to go and birdie, and he made a big shot there at the end. And so, I think that's the bigger story.
Yeah, so for me, a couple things. I've told you all this on the group message, and I've talked to some other people I've seen at the course. When you're talking about Tommy Fleetwood, I do not feel sorry for Tommy Fleetwood, the golfer, whatsoever. At the end of the day, you're a professional golfer. When you have put yourself in that situation to win as many times as he's had, you got to get it done. You got to get the job done. You cannot start out the day 3 over through 5 holes. You can't bogey the last hole to lose when you're up one. Like, you've done this and you've had your opportunities. So I do not feel sorry for him whatsoever as a golfer. Just because he's good enough. His game. It's not like he's trying to make this Cinderella story. Like, he is week in and week out, he is at the top 20. He's a very, very consistent golfer. Now, when we're talking about, just like you've mentioned, this personality, I feel awful for the guy. He's a great guy, great family man. Which also leads me to another point. If Tommy Fleetwood can go do the press conference after something like that, then you cannot convince me or tell me that Rory McIlroy can't make time, or Colin Morikawa, or whoever it is, make time to talk to the media. Because, you could just see, like, somebody had grabbed his soul out of his heart. Or his soul out of his body. Like, he was just, like, if you watch the video, like, he was sitting there, he just saw it just slip out of his hands. And yet he still was mature and showed the professionalism that professional golfers should be. And because people are watching, and the fans are the ones who allow you to be able to do this. And he gets up there and he talks about what had happened, and he hates it, and he was just being an honest guy. Now, on the flip side of other things, talk about Captain Keegan. Man, going up 18th fairway, you could just feel the vibes of the Ryder Cup. Like, I sent that, like, you could just feel, like, slowly, like, and then after Tommy Fleetwood changed clubs, Like I know it was like, okay, he is definitely not going to hit a good shot. After flipping like clubs and thinking about it and talking that long, he's like, yeah, this ain't gonna work out. And then Keegan gets up and like as soon as he hit it and you hear him say, be good or whatever, I mean like you knew, and then as soon as he hit 5 feet, USA, and I'm sitting there, USA, USA, yeah, Tommy, yeah, get some. So, I it it, it's all fun and games. Man, I know though in that environment, like especially with everybody cheering for Keegan or being from that around that area, like that's got him pumped up. And Keegan, like, I I don't see how at this point. We're going to talk. Well, actually, I'm going to save it. We'll talk about Keegan on the Ryder Cup here in a minute because I want to give Mason a chance because I don't want to go into it. But go ahead, Mason. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I agree with everything y'all said. Feel bad for Tommy. Just some, he's such a good golfer. He has to find something to mentally be able to, just block this out. And because, like, that putt on 18, the one thing you cannot do is leave it short and give Keegan a line. And what does he do? He leaves it short and gives Keegan a line. Like, that's the one thing you cannot do. Give it to the hole, get it to the hole, give it a chance, and he just several boneheaded mistakes that he probably normally wouldn't make, but he's letting the pressure get to him, and he has to try to find something to be able to get past that. Because, like you've all said, he's a really good golfer. He's a consistent golfer. Hope he does break through, and I agree, Colton. I think once he does, he gets that monkey off his back. It won't be in the back of his mind as much anymore. I finally got this one. Just go play golf. That's all there is to it. But I also agree. I think Keegan's the bigger story. Because, like you said, Colton, I mean, the Ryder Cup's right around the corner. It's kind of been on the topic here recently with him. Should he use the captain's pick? Should he not? And then he kind of comes back and wins there on the 18th hole. I think that's definitely the bigger story right now, just with everything going on and the Ryder Cup upcoming, and us really trying to figure out who we're going to take because right now Europe's loaded.
Yeah.
we
So
need
talking
help.
about Bethpage, let's redraft. Who are we taking? We're going to give it a little update.
Give the top
12.
six. Give the top
well,
six.
let's just go on. Mason, you go give us one, then Colton, and then me.
Well,
and if we dispute,
but
we can talk about it. But
give the top six in points because they're automatically on.
okay, well, top six in points are Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, J.J. Spawn, Russell Henley, Bryson DeChambeau, and Justin Thomas.
Yeah.
So that's your top six in points.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mason,
who's the first?
First next one, and if we agree, we'll agree. I mean, you don't have to be the first next one, but I mean, like somebody up there that you think. Yeah, I mean that's I think that's obvious.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm still saying Patrick Cantlay. I mean, I just think as long as he's up there, I think you have to take him. That's me personally. I mean, they could leave him out, but I just think he's proven too much being able to make clutch putts, and he's still a consistent player. I mean, even like right now, it doesn't seem like he's playing that good, but I think he's still 17th in FedEx Cup points or something like that, or he was like top 25. 14th now. So yeah, I mean, he's
14th in the Ryder Cup standings right now. I don't know
he's
about
14th.
FedEx. I was looking at the Ryder Cup.
FedEx. Well, this FedEx Cup season, like it seems like he hasn't played that well.
He's 14th in Ryder Cup,
but he's like top 20 still in the FedEx Cup points right now. I'm pretty sure. So like he's still had a good season. I mean, I what do y'all think? I mean, I think Cantlay personally.
I think you take him just because of experience and
I mean,
I think he's a captain's pick if he doesn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's gonna be a captain's pick, but
he's 10th in FedEx Cup points right now, and it feels like he's not playing.
Yeah.
Wait, how many captain's picks do they get?
6.
Oh, it's 6 and 6. I for some reason thought it was 8 and 4. I don't know why.
No, yeah, he's 6.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just don't see how you don't go with this guy given the season that he's had. I'm going Ben Griffin. I just don't. I don't see how you don't. I mean, he's not. It's not like one of those guys who played once or twice well. I mean, he's consistently posting top 15, top 10s on a weekly basis. So,
yeah, I'm in on Griffin. So I mean, that's 3 guys that I think, and I mean he's consistently there. So I mean, I think he's become a lock pretty much too.
Which leads us to I think our next guy who we're all thinking.
You
Keegan?
thinking Keegan?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do we put, does he, all right, I know we will put him on there. What are your thoughts? Is he going to
I
put
think,
himself on this team?
yeah, I think with the win, yes.
You gotta put USA first.
Yeah. I think
You're
that
giving your team the best opportunity to win if you're on that team.
had he
Yes.
not won, maybe, but he's won now. Like he's won. Like I mean, he's ranked number 7 in the world or something like that. So I mean, it's not like he's.
And,
I mean, we're talking
and
about the 7th best player in the
something
world.
else I really like that Keegan had mentioned. I don't know if y'all watched some of this. I didn't watch a lot of it, but I just watched some of his press after. He was talking about, he's like, obviously I'm not oblivious to the fact that I could have played this year on the Ryder Cup team. That's why I chose my vice captains the reason I did. And he has Jim Furyk, who's been there, had experience. Kevin Kisner had experience. Webb Simpson, Brant Snedeker, and I was sitting there, I was like, that's really smart. I'm glad he chose those guys. Like, you wanted guys around you that maybe I don't know how close Keegan is to like all those, but like you don't want somebody that like a lot of times you would probably pick your best friend or somebody like your real like maybe in this scenario you needed somebody with experience because there's that possibility that you could be on the Ryder Cup team in which it's probably going to come to fruition.
And it's time to bring Tiger on staff.
I was like, I
Give him
saw
a little
that
juice.
nonsense.
Give him a little juice.
I don't think Tiger will take it because I think he'd be scared we'd lose. Tiger don't want to add that nonsense. He's not ready to add that to his legacy.
I mean, you just think about Zach
he's gonna
Johnson.
captain the team.
Nobody's ever going to remember Zach Johnson for his Masters win. Nothing. They're going to remember him getting his booty waxed.
Yeah. And look, Europe's loaded, and we got a home field advantage. But they're, I don't feel great about it right now. But all right, so we're going to say Keegan at 10. So that leaves 2 spots.
Yeah.
And
Well,
this
the
is
only
where
good thing
I
though,
think
Colton,
the
is
mixture
it's at New York, and we know how New Yorkers are. So they're going to be
rowdy,
baby. All right, who's our last 2? We got to really dive in.
I'll throw one out there.
Who you throwing?
Sam Burns.
Yeah, I'm in. That's who I was going to say.
I'm in.
I think he's playing well. I think he's playing well.
He is playing well.
He's a great putter.
I was about to say he's a really good putter. He didn't putt well whatever tournament it was, in the playoff. But I'm going Sam Burns.
I'm in on Sam Burns. I think he was on that line, and he's proven here in the last 3 or 4 straight tournaments. Unless he just falls off a cliff in the next 2 months and just plays absolutely terrible, I think you've got to put him on there.
So I got a question for this next pick, our last pick. Are we doing it based on we're doing it based on today? We're not doing it based on if they win a couple weeks. We're just doing it right now. If the Ryder Cup were to happen next weekend, this is who we're rocking with. Because I think that's a big difference for me, at least.
Well, it's going to have to be a big difference for us because, I mean, I would personally choose Spieth, but if he's injured, we're not taking him. He withdrew this past week because of injury, so I'm not taking him next week if he's injured. But
y'all are going to disagree with me, but
unless my boy, are you on with my boy Brian Harman?
Nope.
I don't know who. I mean, look, Harman didn't play bad this past weekend either. I don't know. I mean, he's right there at it, but I would personally love to watch Spieth.
Are you gonna say Cam Young?
Oh, yeah, I think he has all of a sudden started playing.
He's also played. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's the guy.
Him and Burns.
If he starts win, if he were to win,
yeah,
I agree, Colton. He's been playing. Who you think about, Mason?
You bringing someone off of live? You calling Patrick Reed?
Nope.
Brooks Koepka. Oh no.
I mean, I'm all for it, but
he holds the course record, and he just won the last major there. He played well at the U.S. Open. He's got that mentality that he's like, I don't really care what anybody says. I can go out here and ball. I know I can. You need that kind of. I'm going with Brooks Koepka.
He does, but we kind of thought that same thing. He kind of thought that same thing for the last Ryder Cup, and then he
didn't do nothing.
And he got hosed. No, I agree, but if that would be the only reason we would pick Brooks right now is because we're like, oh, he's got that grind that he ain't getting beat, but he did. He got whooped. Yeah, I mean,
it was a course record.
We got to come to let's just do it as if we're playing next week. Like, let's just do it like that. Like, realistically. Like, right now.
If we was
If
playing
Spieth
next
wasn't
week,
injured, I would say Spieth. But
yeah, I would too.
I don't
I
think
think I
Spieth
think
is
Cam.
not playing well
I
either,
think
fellas. Though
I think Cam Young or Spieth. I think Spieth's playing better than you think he's playing.
yeah,
I mean, Spieth's had what 6 or 7 top 25s this year. I
I'm
mean,
trying to find it.
he's or 4 or 5. I mean, he's had quite a few. I know one top
He's
10.
had 4 top 10s.
Yeah, I mean that's good golf. That's really good golf.
all right, let's just go with Spieth then. So then we've got Scotty, Xander, JJ, Russell Henley, Bryson DeChambeau, JT, Colin Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Keegan Bradley, Jordan Spieth, Patrick Cantley, Stan Burns. Down, down, down,
Bring it,
down,
We can win with that
down,
group.
down.
bring it.
Where are we watching this at? That's
Oh,
all
we're
I need to
playing.
know.
We're going to meet up. We're going to play.
Absolutely.
Claire, if you're listening to this, I have not talked to you about this yet.
Karen, I believe that's your
wait. We
birthday.
got time.
Karen, I believe that's your birthday weekend. I'm so sorry.
All right. Let's
USA.
real quick. That's right. USA over real quick. Let's give let's give our 2 picks and then our sleeper pick for this week's Rocket Mortgage tournament that's going to be played on the PGA tournament. Mason, do you want to start us off?
Yep, I'll start us off.
2
I'm gonna
picks
go
and a
with
sleeper.
my first pick. I'm going to go with Cam Young. We talked about him recently, but I like Cam Young.
I'm going to go with it too.
Oh, took your pick this week, Dylan. What are you going to do? Huh?
I'm switching up right now.
Now you gotta replace it. I'm gonna go with another. I wouldn't say he's kind of a long shot odds wise, but I'm gonna go with Akshay. He hadn't really been playing well, but he has a game. Hoping he can jump out of a slump. I think he finished second or third last year here. He was top 5 last year here. So I'm gonna go with Akshay. And then my last one, a little bit of I guess I'll make Akshay my sleeper pick, and then I'm gonna go with Wyndham Clark as my other pick.
You're kidding me.
Nope, not kidding you.
Aha. Get him. I'll go ahead while you're thinking, Dylan.
Yeah, you took 2 of mine. I had Wyndham Clark and.
Oh,
All right, give me Siwoo Kim.
You're kidding me. Oh
Give me-
my goodness. I just
give
wrote
me-
Siwoo Kim down.
Give
Oh
me
my goodness.
Siwoo Kim. Give me Hideki. And give me Ricky Fowler.
I knew you were going to say Ricky. I knew not to write him down.
Well,
one of my buddies called me yesterday. He was like, "Who is that guy that always picks Ricky Fowler?" He was like,
Oh,
"He
man.
stinks."
Hey, listen, the man, he shot even, then he shot 7 over at the Travelers, and then he shot 6 under on Saturday and shot 3 under. The man shot 9 under the last 2 days.
Oh my
Just
god!
shot 7 over on Friday. What?
Golly.
But he battled back, got in the 30s, got top 30. I mean, Ricky,
Okay.
hey, past champion here. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm scrambling.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm going to go with the only guy that I still had that y'all didn't take was Ben Griffin. I like Ben Griffin. I just think he's playing really well.
That's who we took in our pick on this week.
And then I'm going to go with Keegan Bradley. Those are going to be my 2 heavy favorites. I'm going to have him going back to back, solidifying himself on the Ryder Cup team if he's not already done that. And then my sleeper pick, I'm going to go with Jake Knapp.
Jake Knapp
As my sleeper pick.
Could
My
be.
sleeper pick originally was
It's
Wyndham
kind of a bomber's wedge, of course. So
Yeah. So, well, fellas, it's been a good episode tonight. As always, go Cats.
Go
go
Cats.
Cats.
That's a wrap for this episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, be on the lookout for our social media pages and be sure to follow them. We've got plenty more stories, insights, and conversations coming your way. And if you really loved it, make sure to share it with a friend. From the hills to the hollers, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep that Kentucky spirit strong.